Good morning, everybody. Alright, let me just quickly deal with this, then we'll get started. I've got to turn my fan down. There we go. Right. Let's do this. So, yeah, where did we get to? I've got prompts on my screen for like Windows Defender right now. Where did we get to? Yesterday we were doing stuff with the workflow planning. And then yesterday afternoon I realised that, it still wasn't quite right. But not as bad as it was earlier in the week. So, what we had, like way back when, let me open up Workflow 3, right? This is what we originally had. And there was a problem with this because it said process instead of processes because there was a problem with it, right? This is what we had, and it was create process for each part, create phase for each process, assign loadout to each phase, and all this stuff was basically wrong. I mean, it was sort of right, but it turned out not to be as right as we want. So it turns out what we actually need is create a phase for each process, and at the time you create a phase, you choose a loadout for the phase, or you create a new one. But a phase, and this is important, a phase cannot exist without a loadout. That's one of the keys. So yesterday I changed it from being an optional phase on the project to being optional loadout on the phase to being a non-optional one. So that got done. It also turns out that when you're assigning a placement to a phase, you don't need an extra step. I mean, there's code that needs to be written, but it's not an extra step to assign the placement part to the loadout. It should happen at the same time because you can't have a placement in a phase without it being in the loadout. It's not allowed, right? So when you assign the placement to a phase, the loadout must contain the placement's part. Simple. Okay. So I started doing a bit of that, and today we're going to continue with that. Yesterday we also did a bit more refactoring as well. Let me just bring up a list of commits just to remind myself as well as you guys. Yeah, so the thing I just talked about here was make loadout mandatory when creating a phase. That got done. And the last thing we did on the stream yesterday was the messaging, so that's good. So stuff after that. There was one issue where an unknown placement could be handled multiple times, so I fixed that. And we also now show the details of the placement assignment as well. So we've got a message that we look for. And then I did some refactoring. Come here, there it is. Because yesterday we had this, I had this phase name in a reference, and I originally created a reference, and then later I forgot that I'd created a reference and created a phase name. So it turns out we only need one of these two things, which greatly simplified the error handling. So I cleaned up all that, and phase name is no more. Right. So, where are we today? Starting with a failing test. Let's go. Right, so if we run this stuff, everything passes, right? But we don't have a failing test yet. But in the bin, I have this method which just says OK at the moment. And we print out the parts. This is as far as I got yesterday. Required loadout parts. So I print out a list of parts that are required for the loadout. Okay, so what we need to do now is add these parts to a loadout. Great stuff. Loadouts are currently stored in CSV files. So I guess we're going to have to load the loadout again. Maybe not. I don't know. Because we're already loading it once. Load the loadout again, get its list, and then add the new parts to the end of the list. Seems reasonable. It would be nice to avoid loading it twice. But that's an optimization. And we don't do optimization not until everything's working. And sometimes, unless you know you need to. It depends on what bit of code is, really. You have lots of thoughts on optimization. If you're running like flight control code on a drone, for instance, like stuff I used to write, the stuff that runs like 32,000 times a second, that's the kind of stuff you want to optimize. Some random bit of planning stuff on a computer with almost infinite memory where it might take 1 millisecond extra to do its work if it has to load the file twice, it's not going to make much difference. And your time is probably best spent elsewhere. Optimization, yes, right. So, right, loadouts. So when we assign placements to a phase, we refresh the project from the design variant, right? And part of that is loading placements. Maybe we didn't load loadouts yet. Maybe we haven't written the code to do this. Okay, all right then. Do we have what code have we got for loadouts? No, we've got some code for loadouts because we used loadouts in the variant builder, didn't we? Yeah, here it is. Load items. What have we got? So we give it a loadout source. Ah, yes, this is good. And then we end up with the result of vec loadout items. That's what we need. Fine, let's use that then. But before we can use that, I suppose we need to say, well, shall we just make it print out the fact that it's loading the loadout file? I could do... Why not? I mean, I don't know whether that's particularly useful. It probably is useful. It probably is useful. Let's make it do it. Let's make it do it. All right, here we go. So, changing the test. Right. So we assign a placements, fine, and then we say loading loadout from loading loadout source. Yeah. And then the loadout source is, well, I don't know. Let's say, hold on, I've got this here still. We can remember that. Loadout message. Let's build a loadout message. What's this going to be? Loadout message is going to be format, because we need to use the temporary directory, right? Which is, and we have to put the temporary directory somewhere in here. We've got the context thing with a path in it. Yeah. Context dot path. Yeah. But the problem is we need to add something to the end of the path in a way that works cross-platform, forward/, backslashes and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to use loadout, wait, no, loadout path to string, probably. Okay, so we need a loadout path. Let loadout path is going to be path bar from this thing, perhaps. You don't want to move it, we want to do that, right? And then we can say, then we need to add the actual file name for the loadout to this path. And to do that, you do push, and then you go meh, I don't know. No. So, okay. Let's have a look at the other tests. So we've got our variant builder test, and one of these has got some stuff to do with the loadout, right? Let's see where this is used. Right, so we've got a loadout, and it's just called loadout.csv, isn't it? And these are our loadout records. Oh, this is good. We can reuse these. Happy days. This is good. This is good. This is good. This is good. Good. Right. Okay. So yeah, we should probably write a loadout file with like a couple of random parts in it, and then assert that the loadout file has got some new parts added to it in a bit. But first, let's deal with the name. Yeah, okay, fine. So we've got some parts of this that we can reuse. This is good. So where are we? When we created the phase, we had to specify the name of the loadout, and it was called loadout1. So this is what's going in here, and it's going to have .csv on the end of it. And in order to add that, we need to push to it, and then what do we need? What's wrong here? What's wrong? Loadout. Can we just do this? No. What? Oh, it's something like to OS string? To stir? Why can't I print that? Can I go? Okay, we'll do that then. And then this, what is this? Dot aster. I mean, do we want to use aster, or do we just put a reference in front of it? Let's put a reference in front of it. Okay, so this is what we're looking for. Loading, loadout, and then the source. So, yay. Okay, now we've got a reason to load a loadout. So we're gonna. Honestly, we're probably just gonna reuse that. Okay, so right. So we've got the phase, and the phase contains the name of the loadout. So yeah. Right. But we need the path. So we've got a problem. Let's say path. Okay, this is called from here, right? And all of these commands get a project file path. Now the question is, I don't really know. I didn't really decide one way or the other. Do we expect the loadout CSV file to be in the same path as the project? or do we expect it to be, or can it be somewhere else? Right, and then in that project, in the phase thing, so we've got our project and it's a project, and then in the project we've got phases, and in the phase we've got a loadout name, not a loadout path. So we could change this so that it's a path, but that's probably wrong, because we want to add different places to get loadouts from. So for instance, they could be like internal to the system, or they could be CSV files, or they could be on some sort of API, HTTP connection, or remote server, or who knows, right? So I think loadout name's probably right for now. But later this might need to change to be loadout source, and then it takes like the same kind of path as like the other things do. Yeah, but you know, I think it's probably okay for now. Well, okay, hold on a second. I say that, but we've got this loadout name. Where's it used? I'm thinking of changing this to loadout source. Let's use an update phase. Yeah, okay. Let's rename this to loadout source. And then see where this is used. Let's have a look at the tests and the help for create phase. So we've got this loadout. It says loadout name here. So let's change that to be loadout source. Right. And then that means we need to go back to the bin thing. And then this command here, not that one, this one is going to need to have source in there. Not that kind of source. Right. Okay, so we've got to load that source. Now it can be a proper full path name, right? Which means, finally, we don't need to build a path like this. We can just use the path directly. Happy days. Yeah, so phase.loadout. Right, because it's a path now. We're going to have to go and change the tests a little bit. Right. Okay, and let's not load it yet. I suppose we need to say info here as well. And probably we don't want to move it, we want to... we'll see what happens. Right. Pass or fail? Fail. Right. Because why? Yeah, you see, what is this? What is this? We screwed that up. We've got project path. No. That's wrong. That's completely wrong. Okay. So in our context, what have we got in here? We've got a tempter. Right, we should be using the tempter, not the project path. Okay, fine. So we can fix that. That's easy. Tempter. What is tempter? I think you go tempter.path. Yeah, there we go. Right, let's run that again and make sure we've got the right thing. So this is where it wants to find the CSV file. This is good. So the problem now is that the phase has been created with a different path. So let's move this to the context. Because it's going to be used by more than one test. This is what I'm thinking. So pub load, let's say phase 1 loadout. Yeah. Path buff. Because there might be more than one phase and each phase might have a different loadout. So we're putting a phase on it. And then if anyone starts using phase 1's loadout for phase 2, they'll know about it. Right, so we've got to create this thing, which we can do here. And then we can add this to the context, which I guess is going to be called this instead. Right, like that. Right, but this can be this. Yes, this is good. Okay, cool. Let's be a little bit more verbose here. Let's do that. Right, so now what we've got to do is use this when we're building the phase. So when we go create phase, we've got a bunch of args. One of them is this. Right, so we're going to have to go and let's say let phase 1 load out arg, and then we're going to format the arg with the path, something like this, right? Is that going to do it? What's the problem? Camel. What's the problem? Path buff doesn't implement display. Well, I guess we have to do this thing again then, don't we? Right. So now instead of this, drink, we can have the arg that we just created. But it needs to be a thing. Like, do we? Like, Astor? I mean, let's follow the. Maybe I should have used ampersands there. Right. Anyway, moving on. So that means that death and despair. That means that the path. See, the problem is the path changes every time you run the test because you get a different temporary directory, right? And up until now, every single thing that's been in these JSON files that we're asserting has been fixed. See the problem? See the problem? God damn it, it's So, I don't know. I mean, I suppose you could. There's a couple of ways of doing this. Yeah, all right. Let's. You just start. You start on one thing, and then you just say, "Oh, it's so innocuous, right? We're just gonna, print the name of a CSV file out and assert that it's there." You watch what's going to happen now. You watch. Here we go. This thing. Dearie me. Okay. God damn it. Right. Okay, let's start with this one. I knew this was coming. Right. Builder pattern to the rescue. So. Okay, here we go. Right. Let's start here. Let's go let project builder is a project. It's going to be a test project builder. Sure. And it's going to be mutable. Right, so we need a test project builder. Here it is. Ta-da! That was good, wasn't it? Right. Then what do we want to say? We're going to create one of these things, and then the normal builder pattern is to go dot and then with processes, and let's say PnP and manual. Right. Seems reasonable. And then let's say let's not actually create the instance of that thing. I don't really care about it. It's not going to be mutable. We're just going to say this, and then we're just going to say dot content as JSON. No, let's just go content. It's only going to do JSON right now. First cut. Okay. Why? Yeah, that's fine. Create associated function. And we get self. Everything's fine. And let's just go self. Cool. Right. So we go with processes, but it doesn't exist. With name. Job 1. Right? Do we need any of this anymore? Yes. Yes, we do. The content method is going to use it. Cut. By. With name. Create method with name. Sure. And it's going to take a name, which is one of these, and it's going to return self. I think this is one of those cases where you consume it and then you give yourself back. And we're just going to ignore that thing for the moment. And we're just going to try creating the skeleton methods without losing what's on my clipboard. I don't really care how many there are. sure, self, something like this, self, right? And then we're going to delete the multiple implementations that it keeps creating all the time, which is really annoying. Create job, right? And then we've got this content one, and this thing is the one that's supposed to return us some kind of string or something, I think. Right. This is going to return a string, we'll say. I don't know, let's just do that for now, and then say content. And then in my clipboard, I've got this. Somehow we need to get that back in there. Right, so we've got, you know, this, and we could manually use like Surday to create all this stuff, but I don't want to use Surday to do it. I want to specify it without using Surday in this particular case. Why? It's a fair question. You might ask, why don't we use Surday to create it? What happens if you wanted to get rid of Surday as a dependency? Then how would you run your test? I mean, you could run it with a test dependency for a little bit, sure. You know. Do you want to specify exactly how it's supposed to be formatted, or just guess or hope that your test output is correct? Correct. I don't know. There's pros and cons. There's pros and cons each way. My first thought is doing it this way, so we're gonna crack on with that. So we've got this name thing. So what we're gonna do. This bit is the first bit of content, right? So when we create ourselves, we can say content is a string. No, we can't. Because the problem with doing that is people could specify the arguments in a different order, and we can't do it now. We just need to record all the things and then build them at the end, I think. So we'll go... So one of the things that we need to record is this. So we're going to go self.name is name. Sure. I'm not sure why it's not giving me the option to do that, but let's go. Yeah, we're probably going to need a lifetime here. Are we using references, or are we just copying things to strings? I don't know. Let's see if we can use references to start with, and then if we can't, we'll just use strings. So name is going to be a reference to a string. Sure. Okay. Now does that shut it up? Cannot assign a new value to field of immutable binding. Make self mutable. Well, I suppose it does need to be mutable indeed. Fine. And then we just do the same for all these things. Self.processes is processes. And then does it let me create this? Add field processes. Yeah, it does now. I don't know. Oh, that's not helpful, isn't it? Useless. A slice of string references. Pretty pleased with sugar on top. Well, they all need to live for the at least as long as A, right? All of these things need to live as long as this. If they live longer, that is fine. Lifetimes, yay. Right. Okay, this is fine. The problem we've got now is that we can't create these here, so these all need to be option of whatever. Right? And then you go blah 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 blah, and he says, it's been specified, we've got some, yay. Yay. Right, like this. We could probably go default on this. We should be able to do that because there's nothing particularly special about any of the thing that we've got. Yeah, we need a lifetime specified on here. Lifetime required processes. Okay, sure. And same thing here. And default is not implemented for derived default. Sure, we can do that probably. Oh, where'd my cursor go? There we go. Derive default. Let's see if it likes it. Here we're going to need A, and we're going to need A, and we're going to need to get rid of this and this. Does it compile? Like, we're not actually doing it yet, but does it compile? No. Mismatched types. Well, yeah, it wants a slice, so that's fine. No field loadout path. Oh yeah, this is supposed to be phase 1 loadout. Well, we're so far away from getting that done, aren't we now? Phase 1. What is it? It's just phase 1 loadout. Hey, it compiles. This is great. Right, but it fails because obviously we don't have the content there now. So this, we need to fix this method up so it actually does this now. Joy of joys. Let's start with. We've got to do all the indentation and all that. Got to do JSON bloody. I don't wanna do it. We don't wanna write this code. Fine. Here we go. Whatever. I mean, is /n even correct here? I suppose we can search and replace them later, can't we? But right. So if you've got a name, you've got to add a name to it. If let some name self.name, then do this, and then what do we need to do? We need to do this. We need to do, say, content.push. It's just, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. We need more of these. We need some of these, and probably that. Is this right? No. What's the problem? Expected char but found stir. Oh. Oh, okay. How do you add something onto the end of the string? You'd think. You'd think I'd know, wouldn't you? No. Insert, no. Push through. Of course. Like, I know. I'm sure there's a reason why it's called push through and not append. You know, I mean, you could have append and append through, but push to me is you've got something and you go like that with it. Like concatenate. I don't know. I mean, that's getting two separate things and making one thing, isn't it? That's different as well. But this, we're like adding stuff to the end of it, not pushing it. Right? That's how I see it. That's my brain. Anyway. Right. Anyway, moving on. So we've dealt with that. So then we've got this processes bit. So if let some processes is self.processes, then spit this bit out, I suppose. Let's use that indoc thing. Let processes chunk, and then let's use that indoc macro with the r hash thingy, and then paste that in the middle there like that. I'm going to put a semicolon on the end, and then go content push through processes chunk maybe. Right, and then we've got this little trailing thing here, so we're gonna do that as well. Content.push through. I mean, yay! Does the first test still pass? No, we broke it. God damn it! How's it broken? I mean, where's it broken? Oh, it's got some slash ends there. Well, there's a comma and a slash end missing. Fine, let's have a look at that. Yep, okay, fine. It's like we've got to deal with JSON chunks and things now. And also, it doesn't escape this, which is pain. Should we use the indoc process for doing all of this? The same thing everywhere? I mean, it's just wrong, isn't it? Oh, God. It's just... No. Oh, dear. Push through, and then let's do a format, and then put the indentation on it, right? And then go what? This, and then escape everything. Oh God! And then we've got to actually use the name that we have here, and then close that probably. self.name, whatever. What's wrong with this? Options to no, self.name name. Mismatch types. Can you go can you go right? Can we do this? Are we allowed to do this? Because you can probably create this string buffer, can't we? Let's say content is not a string, but is in fact a string something. No, I don't know. Okay, maybe not. I think there's probably some writer API or something like this we can use to do it. But hey, screw it. Don't care. Right. But the problem is that, you know, we've not put a comma here, but we need to. But only if there are some things following it. Let's say let mut need comma false. It's just dear. Oh gosh. Let's put a comma and a line feed. Needs separator? I don't know. Fine. Flipping JSON, just writing a JSON flipping. Ugh. I mean, really, should we just be using Serde for this and just recreate the entire structure of all the things that we've got? Build a pattern. I mean, do we want to use the builder pattern? Really, is this what we're going to have to do for like all of the different things that we've got to add to it? Or do we just want to like use what we've got and then do a search and replace on it? Or should we continue down this path? I mean, it might make the tests a little bit more succinct, because at the moment there's a lot of duplicated stuff between them and it's quite hard to see the wood from the trees. So maybe it's worth proceeding with this instead of like the whole show the JSON and then do a search and replace on the things, because you can't even do the search and replace properly because you've got to parse the JSON and then search for something and then replace it. Yeah. There are other ways to build JSON though. I don't like this way, it's not panning out very nicely at all. What if we use Serde to build the JSON values? That's probably going to be better. let's look at doing that, because I don't like this formatting crap. No. No. No, I don't like it. I didn't think I was going to have to be doing this right now. Let's see if I can find the right... No, that's my email. Don't want that. This, here we go. Survey. Right. So you can use this survey enum and you can like add things to it, right? And then you can parse it, fine, but we want the opposite of this. I don't know why my camera's exposure has just gone like that. It's pretty random. Constructing JSON values. Here we go. Can we... So it's a macro, and then... That's interesting. Let's try doing it like this. Let's try this. But then I'm not sure how this is going to go. But I don't like this rubbish. This is just bad. I'm just going to delete all this because it's hideous. Goodbye. So let's start with that example that we just saw. Right, we're going to import that. Right. So if we start with just this. And let's see if we can get a string out of this. Right, does this work? It does work. This is good. Right, so let's try going. Right, it's a value. So we've got a value. So how can we add to this value now? Let's say root here. How do we add to it? Root. And then can you just go like name like this? Is if let some name is self not name, then add it. Oh. We're all out of whack. I just want to see if this API works like how I might think it might. Expected value but found stir. It might work like I think. Value double colon string, perhaps. Let's see what happens. Okay, it compiled. That's good. And let's have a look at the assertion difference. Well, it's not pretty formatted, is it? I knew it. I knew it. So we've got our value, but we need to, instead of going to string, we need to say pretty format. I think we already do this in the production code where we write the project file out. And this is how we do it. We say create a formatter, create a serializer, and then use the serializer. So the creation process of creating a formatter is probably going to be the same, but the rest of it probably not so much. I don't know. Come with. I'm probably doing this wrong. Writer. So, how do you get a writer from a string? We still don't know this. Is that the right way of doing it? I don't know. How do you create a formatter? Struct. I don't know. Let's have a look. Yeah, I don't care about the formatter really. I just want to know how to use it. Let's have a look at pretty formatter. Right, how do you use it? Construct it, yeah, I'm sure I can construct it. Can you pass it something to format? No, probably the serializer uses the format. I probably need a serializer. Oh dear. I don't know. Yeah, that's not what I want. Okay, let's just play the guessing game because I can never find things in these APIs. We've got a writer. How do I get a writer from a string? Yeah. Buff writer. Okay. Probably something like this. Yeah. Okay, fine. It's probably wrong, but whatever. Let meh equals buff writer. I don't know. I mean, what are you supposed to specify here? Gosh. Can we just give it a string? Do I want a buffered writer? No. I just want a regular writer. No. Where does this live? I don't care actually. Let's try going me is a string and it's just a new empty string. Fine. Let's see what we can do with me. Can we get a writer? Does string implement the writer traits? I'm just looking at the right hand side of this list at the moment. Don't know. Does the trait bound string IOWrite is not satisfied? Right. No. Okay. Don't care about any of that. Aren't we looking at the same thing we were looking at before? No. Just something so dumb. I don't know the API. Rust stud API writing strings. Dref, blah de blah. Yeah, all this stuff. Do I have to go searching to find implementations of the right trait? Trait implementations, look, see. Right. Implement right for string. What's it? You got this writer. Really? Okay. I wasn't expecting that. Where does this come from? Oh. Oh, do you just need a reference to it and then it has it? Am I missing this? Write is not implemented for standard string, but But when you take a mutable reference to this and you say that W is of type right, it is. And then you can write through to it. Why doesn't that work? I'm probably doing this all wrong anyway. Oh, I don't know. What can you do with this root thing? You can serialize it. And you need a serializer to do it. Oh, but serialize. I don't know. Somehow this serializer will have written stuff to meh. Don't know. I really struggle with finding out how to use these things, like with formatter. Look, where's the documentation? You go with formatter. You've got a writer. Fine, I need a writer. How do I get a writer? Right? I just want an example of how to use this. That's all I want. But there's no examples in any of this. No, there's a bunch of comments in that code, but no examples of how to actually use the API. Let's look at the Serde JSON documentation. Serde JSON documentation. No. Serde JSON documentation. So we've got this. We've got a crate. We can do some stuff with it, and then just let's search for pretty. Oh, there's apparently a two-string pretty here. It might be interesting to look at the implementation of that actually. Oh, unsafe. Fantastic. But I just want to use the writer. Look. I'm sure there's probably a way of making this crap work. But no. You see, the formatting's going to be wrong if I just do the pretty thing. That's the problem. It's supposed to be using 4 spaces, and the default is to use 2 spaces. So I can't not do this. I was going to just give up and then just use the with the pretty thing, but I need to use this formatter to do it. Let's. So there's no two-string pretty on here anyway. How'd you get this stupid writer out of this? I don't know. I've got a string. I want to tell the serializer to serialize to a string. Let's say as done. Can we do this? Which one is it? Fuck knows. Which one does it want? Oh, I don't know. That was my original thought, but that's wrong. God. Oh, I just hate things like this. Some days being a software developer is a real pain in the arse. I just want to use a formatter. Right, how do we use this stupid thing? Yes, but no. Why does... I mean, are you just supposed to use a vector of some random type that's not even specified? I mean, it's just Okay, sure, we'll do it the same way as this. So instead of going meh is a string, we're just going to say it's a vector, which honestly wouldn't be my... wouldn't have been my first thought in a million years. Like, right, so you actually get a vector of U8s. Really? And then to get the string out of it, okay, you have to create a string from UTF-8. Right, okay, fine. I'd never have guessed this in a million years. Let's say, okay, expect, whatever, to do. Buffer. And then I've got an extra bracket there for some reason. So apparently you're supposed to do it like that. Return the result of a let binding from a block. What does this mean? Yes, that's fine. Okay, well, at least it compiles. Like, a vector implements right, but string doesn't, apparently. It seems a bit weird. Okay, fine. Okay, maybe I'll look into that at some point. Right. So now what? Okay, so this is good. This is good. We're actually getting somewhere. All we wanted to do was load a CSV file. actually just print out the name of a CSV file. I'm just so far away from doing that. It's just craziness. Fine. So we're trying to make this work. So we're supposed to be adding this stuff, right? This method, this way of accessing stuff apparently seems to work, so that's good. And we can create stuff like this, fine. So if we go if let some, no, processes is self.processes, then we need to write the processes out. So we can go root processes is going to be, what is this? This is going to be a value of an array. Right, but I want to put some stuff in the array. Can we just put processes in there? I don't know. What can we use? Vec of values. Is there an automatic converter thing? No. To vec. A vector of values. Is there no automatic niciness? Let's just see what happens if we do this. A vector of values, fine. Processes.map. And then I suppose we go value. Well, we need the process value string process, I suppose, and then collect them. Maybe. Create a vector and then iterate over it. Process as a string reference. Make it a string. Perhaps. That works. Right. Okay, so we've got an extra line feed at the end of the file. So we're going to deal with that in the test code. Yeah, we can push a character. Go on then. Sure. Oh, it works again. Amazing. Right. So we can build our JSON file up like this. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Let's fix this a little bit. Because there's too many brackets. There we go. Right. That's a bit more sane. Okay. Great. So our first test has got this. Right. Now we need to go to a second test, and then we have to repeat this for all of the tests that we've got. So this one's got a unit assignments and also part states and placements on it now. Fine. So if we say all of this stuff, because that was all the same, and then I suppose we need to go dot with unit assignments What are these going to look like? Let's say key. Well, we will do that in a moment. Sort of want a hash set. Or let's see. If there's literal map syntax, yeah, this kind of thing. But no, you can create a hash set from. You can create a hash set from an array, I thought. No. I thought there was a... I thought there was a way of creating one. Yeah, hash set from and then whatever. Right, but this is... Oh, it's not a hash set. So it's B-tree map. Let's see if we can find this. Yeah, there it is. That's what I'm after. So you create it from a tuple structure. Right. That's what I want. Something like this. Let's bring that there. Put that there. Put some quotes in. Import this. And then say design name is this. And this is this. With unit assignments, right, and it's moaning about this because that, and now it doesn't know about this, so we can create it. Sure, and then we're gonna move this to the right implementation. Oh, it's not as easy as I thought things were going to be today. I wasn't expecting to have to do all this refactoring. And this is going to be the key. No. Let me go back to this, because there can be more than one unit assignment. So we're going to say an array of tuple structures. Yes. Which is going to be, oh dear, stuff. The thing that's going to be in the tuple is going to be called stuff. And it's going to be this, right? Okay. Sure. No, that's a single tuple structure, so it needs to be a slice of those things. And it needs to return self at the end of it. Oh. Why didn't it just use this type that I defined here when it added the field? Everything's A. Off you go. Unit assignments. So, if let some... Oh dear. This needs to be option. Unit assignments, right? We're trying to print out the content. It's somewhere around here. Then do some stuff. What kind of thing was it? It was I don't know, what was it? What kind of JSON object is this? This is an array, and then it's got another array in it. Because, who knows why? Because this is the way that Serde does it. Sure. And then we're going to say it's got another array on it. Oh my god. I don't like this. It's an array with an array. I mean, is this an array? And then each of the things are in the array are different. It just seems weird. But sure. I mean, how do you specify that? Probably. One sec, I've got to respond to a message. Right, so the first thing is a string. Of whatever. I think this is some key, right? And then the next thing is an object. How do you create an object? It's a map of string to value. What is... Can we... Can we do this? Probably not. What a faff this is. What a faff. Yeah, okay, fine. Okay, fine. 2 string, sure. Let's see what we can do here. Expected map, string value found, some stuff. How do you create this? How do you create a map? Let's have a look. Can I just give it a B-tree map to use? No, probably not. Where's it? Where does this live? It is insert adjacent. Yeah, I don't really care about that. I just want to create one. Yeah, no, we're going to have to futz around doing some weird ass type conversion stuff probably. Let's just put in an empty thing to start with, and then we'll do our iteration in a moment. Let's see what happens here now. An array. So how do you create an array? A vector of values. Arguments to this enum variant are incorrect. Expected vec of value found value. Where? Which one? 1108. Oh yeah. Well, this probably needs to be a vec like this. Explicit lifetimes, yeah. Okay, it builds. This is, I mean, that's good. Right. Let's rename this to old and then just see what it spits out at this point. So we've got this, so we've got this bit and this bit, which is good, but we don't have this stuff in it, which is fine. Okay. So now we have to do the futzing around creating these values. So I suppose we have to go unit assignments dot iter map and then no, not like that. Sort of like that. Yeah, okay. So then we've got a key and values, and we need to return something here and then collect them. And the thing that we're trying to create is one of these. So we say value array. Right. And then here we need our other vector. Right, we've got our values. So at this point we need to go values iter map each of these. No. We've got two things in it. Firstly, we've got the key. Right? The second thing is a value object which contains this stuff. And then this is an entry which is going to be key value. And then this needs to be a what? Is it another object with one thing? Like, but what is one of these? That's what I don't know. It's this, right? So we go let map is map new, and then I suppose we insert things into the map. This array thing is supposed to be a vec of some stuff. Just what a madness this stuff is. Madness. I'm creating a map. And I've got these values. Honestly, it almost seems like we should just create the entire object graph as testing and use the pseudo derive to do it, but I really don't want to do this for all the other ones we've got to do, but maybe we'll do this once and then it'll be easier the next time. But right now this is really painful. And then I've got this value thing here, and I'm trying to return it. And I don't know what the hell's going on. What is this bit? What is this chunk complaining about? So I've got this bracket is. Can you please show me the? Am I just missing some like an extra bracket or something dumb? So this bracket here is this one, right? After map, we do collect. And then we're trying to build items for the vector. And they all need to be of the same type in the vector. It's just mismatch closing delimiter, fine. Where is the mismatch closing delimiter? So we've got an object here. Am I missing a bracket here? Okay, fine. Right, so this needs to be dot two strings, fine. Closure is expected to take two things. Right, it's supposed to be like this. Fine. And then it bitches about blah 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 blah, cannot be built from some iterator which creates no, we need to use fold. We need to do a fold, and then we create the new map, and then you have the accumulator, which is going to be mutable, and then you just keep returning the accumulator, right? But we don't collect at the end of it. Fold. Fold is supposed to be the initialization function, then a function, and that function is supposed to take B, which is the thing that the initialization function returns, and the item. Why? Oh, because this is supposed to be a comma. Right. That's better. Right. Okay, got my syntax wrong. Getting there. And then we've got to return the accumulator, which is the map. So let's just call it map. And we just keep returning the map. And then we get this foo out of the end of it. And it can't work out what foo is for some reason. So it's supposed to be, I don't know. It's just supposed to be an array of these. No? Why can't it work it out? Oh, okay. That's interesting. I don't know why I can't work that out. Let's say values is like this. And then I suppose here, now we can finally put the values. And then at some point we're going to need to put things into this map, these keys and values. So we go probably something like map.insert kv. Probably 2 string on both. V value. Right, so this needs to be a value of type string, which is built from a string. Of course it does. How does it look like now? Right, so look, we've got unit assignments. They're in the wrong order. Look, we've got processes and then unit assignments. So processes need to be first. We are making progress here. We actually are. So we'll pull that down to here. It's hard going, this is, isn't it? Right. No. Wait. Oh, don't tell me it does weird things. Hold on. Let me pull that back up again and run it again. It's not maintaining the order. So no matter where I put it in the code, it doesn't maintain the order. So it's supposed to be name, then unit assignments, then processes, right? Name, unit assignments, processes, right? So name, blah blah blah, unit assignments, blah blah blah, and then processes. But the problem is this root thing is a value. And it's not maintaining the order. How do we make it maintain the order? Who knows? Survey JSON order, preserve order. I saw something like this. But where's this preserve order? Enable the preserve order feature. There's a feature for Survey. I wasn't expecting that. Fine. So we go back to our card. We go to the dependencies. Not expecting to have to do that. Survey JSON features preserve order. Just feels like it should do that by default, you know. Right, now let's see what it looks like, what the expectation looks like. Okay, so now it remembers the insertion order, which is good. Whew. Righto, so now we've done that, which was hard work, and now we've got to deal with all of this. Yeah, double object graph. We'll just can carry on plodding along with this. Oh, this is painful today. This is. All I wanted to do was like add the name of a CSV file to a JSON file. Go on then. Alright, part states. Here we go. So what's part states? Part states is an array of an array with an object with keys and values, and then another object that's empty currently. Okay, fine. So with processes, and then with part states, and there's let's put this and oh no. I was going to say let's put that and that together, but yeah, no, that is right. Just want to try and make this a little bit more maintainable. There we go. So this is going to be a similar kind of thing, right? Where we have no IDE, don't do that. So with part states, and then a part state contained the part and the state. So the what is this? It's going to be the name of the part, and the manufacturer part number. Right, so that's the part, and then it's going to have some state, which is nothing at the moment. So let's just do that. Sure. Seems fine for now. With part states, create method, off we go. And we're going to need lifetimes everywhere. And it's all hideous, and yeah. Self to part states equals sum. Part states, sure. Return self, sure. Self, sure. And needs to be mutable with a semicolon. And we're going to add the field. And this is going to be all of this, but in an option. Right? Put that there. Then we're going to have to do the same kind of stuff as here. So let's just steal that for a moment. We're going to put it here. And this is going to be part states. Right. And we're going to need to do the same iteration stuff. And a bunch of this stuff is probably all wrong. So we've got an array of the values, we said. We've got an array of the values, and then we've got an object. Oh gosh. Let's just delete this because it's confusing me. And it needs to be a value of an object with a map, and let's call it part map, right? Map new mutable part map insert, and then it's got manufacturer, and then somehow I need to magically get that out of there. So we're doing this in the wrong place, so we need to do this here. And then this is going to be these, I think. And then this has got to be a string, fine, and this has got to be a string, fine. And we've got to spell manufacturer correctly, and we've got to do MPN. I don't know why it doesn't like toString on this, because it's a typo. No, that's not why. Map. Oh yeah, this needs to be a value of type string with a string. Oh dear. Like that, maybe. Right, so now we've got the part map, which is good, and then we just want a value of an object with a map new, perhaps, because we haven't got anything to go in here yet. I don't know. Maybe it works. What do you think? Okay, let's have a look. What do we get? We got some part states. This is good. This is good. It matches. Right, so we need to add the other part states to our test. Right. Like this. Yes, and we could probably introduce some test objects and then probably introduce serialization for these test objects, and maybe we should have just done that to start with, now that I'm thinking about it. I don't know. Alright, where are we at now? Okay, so part states is done, and now we've got placements, which is going to be all manner of pain. All manner of pain. Alright, so Oh, let me bring that up again. And I suppose we go with placements. These things, I think for now, can we do Alt-J like this? No? No? Alt-J? Is it Control-J? No? Alt-J. Alt-J. It's not working. Why? Join lines. Join lines. Control Shift J. Can you select a block and then do Control Shift J? You can. That's what we're doing. Fine. Right. Then we're going to say with placements. And this also is going to be one of these. I don't know why the IDE does this. Look, I've got this, I've got this. I go back here. No, I didn't do it that time. Why? With placements, array. See, I don't want to select that. No. Okay, so there is a placement, and it looks like this. And then there's going to be some more. And the one placement, what's it got in it? It's got a key, which is going to be this. And then it's got, well, it's got an object, right? So we need a tuple struct with a key. And then a unit path. Uh-oh. See, you might just well add our own objects for these things, because it's all this bracket stuff. It's just unintelligible. You've got no hints from the IDE to tell you what all the things are in these tuple structs. You might just as well have objects. Yeah, you see. And then the next thing I'm going to do is another object. I only did one air quote, I'm afraid. Which is going to have, you know, some fields on it. Right. And then it's got, I don't know. We could do all these in line. And we're going to say true, and we've no idea what this true is relating to, and then we've got no enum for this. Then after that we've got some other fields which is false and known. Right? It's just like, I want a test object that we serialize. You know? Or at least a test object that we don't serialize, but at least it still has same like property names and things like that, instead of these tuple structures with tuple structures and tuple structures, right? Why it thinks It's not unnecessary double parentheses because I haven't added the next one yet. Leave me alone. Right. The method signature for this is just going to look batshit crazy. Watch. No. I told you. Really? Yes, we're going to do it, and then, I don't know. We're going to do it. I didn't say I liked it. Placements? Self? Self? Lifetimes for everything? Make the method signature look even more fantastic than it already is. Oh yeah, let's go. Add the lifetimes, we're sprinkling lifetimes everywhere. It's fantastic. Everything's got a lifetime. What a lovely method signature. Are you serious? Let's see if we can make this not entirely as stupid as it is. We need to get rid of this. Let's put that there. And then let's take this and put this like that. What the fuck? Tuple structures. This is why it's best to avoid them. Unless there's only like 2 or 3 elements in it, and the scope of use and the tuple structure never ever gets passed to another method. Because you've got no idea outside of the place that the content was first put in the tuple structure what those things are supposed to be outside of the method that created it. Such as this case, like with placements. I mean, if you open this file up, looked at with placements, you'd be like, what the hell am I supposed to put in here? And the only way you can work out what is supposed to go in here is by looking at one of the examples or one of the callers of it, which may be wrong. You wouldn't know. You wouldn't know. There's no transposition errors away. Tuple structures. Look, we're going to transition these to use objects in a bit, but we're just going to do tuple structures for now. Okay, fine. Right, so we've got this placements, and it looks like this, and it's horrible, we know. Then we get placements. And we need to have an optional one of these, and it's going to have that rubbish in it. There it is. And a comma. Oops, it was hiding. Everything's fine. It keeps saying very complex type using. Yeah, no shit. Dear, no. No. Yeah. Yeah. Fine. Okay, here we go then. We're going to go... We've got to start with self.placements, but it's an option, so we have to go let, and we have to go if let some placements is these things, then do some stuff. We need to go root placements is a value which is going to be the array of the values that are put in it, just the same as the other ones. Right, so we need its values from somewhere. and this values is going to be, because it has to be, a vector of values, but for some reason it can't infer the type. And we need to iterate over the placements. So we got placements dot iter, and we need to convert these things foo into something more useful, and then collect on the end of it, right? And the placement is supposed to be one of these. Okay, let's see if we can work this out. Right, so we can start to put our names for this horrible tubal structure thing in here. So we start with 2 brackets. Yeah, I know. And then we had a key. And then we had a unit path. And then we had another thing which had a ref des, a manufacturer, a manufacturer part number, a place flag, and a PCB side. And then there was a placed and a status. There we go, look. Right. Alright, so at least now we have a little bit of sanity inside this little closure. I'm going to try bringing these out so that it's not. Why my IDE keeps doing that? Just no. Right. Okay, so now we can use these to build that thing. So the thing that's going to be inside here needs to be a value. So we're going to go value, and it is of type, I believe it was an array, the same as we did the other ones. Yeah. And this needs to be a vector of stuff, right? This should compile at this point. Let's make sure it compiles. Yeah, it compiles. Good. And inside that vector, we need, firstly, a value of type string made up from the key converted to a string, right? Then we need a value of type object which contains a map. Okay. So I need to create this here. So we go let placement map is going to be a map new. And we need an equal sign. With a space. Okay, so we've got that. Right. So this is the placement map. No, this is the placement map. Well, what is this? Sorry, this is the placement state. But in order to create a placement state, we also need a placement map. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, okay, fine. Yeah. Okay. Let's pull that one up. Let's deal with this. And then we're going to go placement state map, and we're going to add the things into it. So we're going to insert unit path, and then a value of string, which is the unit path. Converted to a string. Converted to a string. Fine. Right, I'm going to deal with the placement in a moment. No, we can do that one. Everything's fine. Yeah, okay. Placement state map dot insert placement to string, and the value is of type value, which is going to be an object which has the placement map inside it. Good. Then we're going to insert another thing, which is the placed state, which is going to have something in it. And to make my life easier, I'm just going to do this. Status, I think. Yeah. And this is going to be a value of string, where the status is converted to a string. And this is going to be a value of type Boolean with a placed flag. I don't know why it doesn't like that. Bool star placed? Yeah. Okay, so now we need to deal with this placement map. Placement map. Right, my doorbell is rung. This is where we're going to have to leave it for today. Alright, I hope you've enjoyed this JSON extravaganza. I will catch you guys later. Alright. Oh wait, just remember folks, it's only software. How hard can it be? We'll see you